Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You are the best physical condition. Your physical condition is very good.
An hour from now, I cannot say. Thank you.
Yes, sure.
Start with the prayers on page 6.
Yeah, page 6.
Taking refuge. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Arya Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Arya Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. To the Buddha, Dharma, and Arya Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. By the merit from listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of benefiting all mother sentient beings. By the merit from listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of benefiting all mother sentient beings. By the merit from listening to the Dharma, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of benefiting all mother sentient beings. Page 11. May all sentient beings achieve extraordinary superior happiness. May all sentient beings be free from the unbearable sea of suffering. May all sentient beings never be parted from the bliss of supreme liberation. May all sentient beings be free of all bias, attachment, and anger to near ones and aversion to others. Okay, page 12, 7-limb prayer. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actually offered and mentally transformed. I confess all my negative actions accumulated since beginning this time, and rejoice in the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until samsara ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate all the virtues of others and myself to the great enlightenment. Page 15, Heart Sutra mantra. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Para Samgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Para Samgate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Para Samgate Bodhi Soha. Page 26, short mandala. Mahum, mahum, mahum. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, sun and moon, I offer in visualization as field of Buddhas. May all sentient beings thus enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Nayata Yami.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. At the beginning, I'll tell you, how to develop your universal compassion. Yeah, we do some meditation. Okay, this very benefit to everyone. Yeah. When sometimes people have problem. How to develop universal compassion. How to develop. How to meditate. Yeah, we have many opportunity. How to develop universal our compassion. First, yeah, sometimes you say, this term of English words, empathy. Sometimes, empathy, universal empathy. It's very important, when you are meditating compassion, today we should it's very lot benefit to you if you can do this every morning. You should think first over the world, not on your family, only not your family, think, or in the, their conflict between the Russia, Ukraine, there are a lot of people suffering, yeah. Then Iran, Israel, Iran, yeah. There are a lot fighting, They should, bomb, yeah. There are a lot bomb, bombing, yeah. A lot of people suffering, yeah. Then you think carefully. Many part of the world, many people, they cannot get food, daily meals, Yeah, we should develop, empathy, first, think like that, Then, then also you go deeper in the world, you think more in detail, how many hospitals, in the country, everywhere, in the hospital, how many patients, how many people going under surgery, how many people having a lot of suffering, Yeah, this is very good. But first you think those, then come back to your home, then your problem is very little. Yeah? Your problem is very little. Then we develop empathy, empathy, Then wish, all the problem, all of these victims will be free from the suffering, Then pray, from the heart, pray, for this, Then meditate, These things, concentration, you keep concentration. A lot of benefit. With this meditation, you could accumulate a lot of merits, Also, you can purify many negativity of you, Yeah. Also, very different, Sometimes we think only suffering of us, This make us disencourage, problem, If you think more suffering of more others, it make you strengthen, Very different. Think the problem of yourself or think the problem of others, very different. Yeah, very different. Encourage, stand, more proud, it make, Yeah, this is the how to practice, how to meditate on compassion, okay? This is very important. Yeah, we can do everybody in the morning, Then can do some prayer, Can do, first think all the world, everywhere, what's happening, What kind of suffering, people are suffering, suffer, Yeah, this is very good. Then come back your small family or yourself, then a little problem, yeah, no, yeah, then, this is very good, okay. Then, I go to, today, I want to this, Today we finish, okay? This is only 7 stanzas we have left to finish today. We could finish, okay? Yeah, actually, there are 2 sources of problem, in our life, physically, mentally, we have some problem comes from problem we don't know the way how, the way of thinking, This is the one way. Other way is that sometimes, we have not physically sometimes problem, the health issue, whatever, etc. This is one thing, We actually, according to Buddhist teaching, say, mind and there is very strong relation between mind and the body, In the modern, this era, modern era, people have more problem with the mind, less problem the physically, Actually, everything, the material resources developed highly, Also, today, the world is become very small, interconnected to each other, The rich country can help to the poor country, send the food, whatever, can help, can reduce, the physical problem, Yeah, cannot solve the mental problem. Mental problem we have to solve ourselves by thinking, by thinking. Also, many problems that, many mental problems unnecessary. We say unnecessary, This is comes from, lack of the education, how to think, Sometimes say, one problem is coming always, one source the mental problem, one main source of the mind, the problem of mind comes from, we always, mostly people, not everybody, mostly people think always about they don't have, always think, they never think what they have, this is the main problem, yeah. It means discontentment, He has new car, expensive car. I don't have expensive car. He has the big house, I don't have big house, like that thing, This is the problem, Oh, I have house, but he has no house, homeless he is. Anything like that, It's much better, Always, But we don't think like that, We always thinking what we don't have, This is the one the main source of the problem, to mental problem, Yeah, unnecessary, This is just one simple example, So on and so forth. There are many things, like this kind of thing, We should think, in our life, yeah. Then, actually the Buddha's teaching, still very, very vast. Very, very vast, Buddha's teaching, very vast. There are many different kind of thought Buddha teaching, accordingly to the mental disposition, the people, Yeah, but there are many thought, The mainly Buddha's teaching focused on the control negative emotion. Okay, this is the Buddha's teaching focusing on, to tame, to conquer negative mind. That's what Buddha himself told. Taming mind is happiness. Untaming mind is suffering. So this is important. Therefore, I already told you, His Holiness Bodhin Dalai Lama divided Buddhism into three categories, Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist practice. First two, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist science is very universal. These two things are very universal. Everyone can accept. Even non-believer can accept. This is very universal. This is the very benefit for emotional regulation. We say emotional regulation. Emotional regulation really comes from the Buddhist philosophy and the Buddhist science. Okay. What kind of the emotion make us the problem suffering? What kind of the emotion make us happiness? Strengthen. What kind of emotion less weakness? All these kind of things in the Buddhist science, there are many different types of emotion, many mental factors, in Buddhist science mentioned many different mental factors. Some text, in the 51, sometimes 41, sometimes, more than these, different text, based, like Abhidhamma Samujaya, Abhidhamma Kosha, so on so, in this teaching, mentioned, yeah, Buddhist science, this is to understand, Then Buddhist philosophy is very, very important, for how to tackle the negative emotion. We should study more Buddhist philosophy, because negative emotion is very, His Holiness sometimes say, negative emotion is very tricky, very tricky. But also negative emotion is very opportunity, When they get opportunity, they come out, always looking for opportunity, negative emotion, Therefore, philosophy study is very important. When you philosophy field, is always introducing the reality, What is the reality? What is the reality of the things, Many mental problem comes from, misconception, misteaching, grasping, beyond the things, beyond what things are, they are, is grasping, because this is comes from the not knowing the reality of the things, You understand the reality of the things, then it can reduce. It could challenge, managing the negative emotion, Yeah. The philosophy also, if you want to practice, Buddhism, the more profound, the philosophy study is very much required, needed, most needed, Also including the Vajrayana practice, Tibetan yoga, etc., etc. Tibetan yoga, real practice based on the understanding of philosophical view. Without the knowledge of philosophical view, then Tibetan yoga becomes the non-Buddhist yoga. Actually, the deity, mandala, energy, wind, nerve systems, same, no different. You cannot distinguish between Buddhist yoga and Tibetan yoga. Okay, non-Buddhist, Therefore, we must distinguish by the motivation, the philosophical foundation, understanding the reality of the things, Non-Buddhist is not talking about this, Buddhist talk about this, Then we distinguish by these things, Altruistic intention, understanding the reality of the things. These two things is very much required, most needed for the Tibetan life yoga, high practice, of Buddhist teaching, The philosophical, Therefore, if somebody you want to go more deep in Tibetan practice or understanding, then philosophical study is very, very important. The very foundation, very foundation. Therefore, I think this is one reason in Tibetan academic, like my monastery, university, we have to start philosophy for almost 4 years, Then later, only 1 year to go to Vajrayana teaching. Mostly spent for the philosophical study, And Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy, We spend more time, much more time, for studying of the philosophical study and the Buddhist science, these two parts. First two parts, Buddhist science and Buddhist philosophy, Then actually, you can yourself can read you go or the Vajrayana text, you can read or you can yourself understanding more. It can explore, because you have foundation knowledge, You know that therefore, according to Buddha's teaching, mindfulness very important. We usually say, sometimes some teacher says that give the food to the mind as we feed to the body. This is true. Means meditate sometime every daily. You should meditate compassion, love, wisdom, patience. This is the food of the mind. Okay, if we could give the food of the compassion, food, food of the love, food of the wisdom, patience, contentment, mind can grow. Mind become healthy. If you develop jealousy, hatred, anger, greedy, always develop this constantly, then mind become unhealthy, not happy. Means unhappy, mind be unhappy. It's repeatedly mind unhappy, it affect to the body, Body, the immune system of the body is reducing, then easy attacked by disease, Yeah, therefore it is very important to take care mind, to take care mind by studying philosophical, philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, and develop this, try to develop this kind of the positive thought, mind, compassion, love, tolerance, contentment. These things are very important, And really, we could begin the happy life. Otherwise, we should have the material resources. Without material resources, we cannot live. Since we have this body, this need, material resources. But the material resources is not everything. Money is not everything, More than this, to take care with this, take care mind, to practice, this positive of the mind, Combination, Then love become rich, We should have life become rich, If you are lack of the mind training, physical condition, you have enough, you have good physical condition, but the mental side, you have lack of some this positive thought. You are not happy. How much you have material resources, how much you have big house, how much you have money, but you still something missing, in your mind, in your life, Yeah, therefore, this is both very important. Also, especially the more important the mind, happiness, to try to reduce, the negative emotion, Yeah, this is very important. Okay. And then for training mind, I introduce you some books, some Buddhist text. I'm benefiting a lot, from this text. Edwards' mind training teaching. Edwards, everyone, this is very good to recite. Here people, satisfied, listen only once. This never work. Should listen more repeatedly, again, and reflect, and meditate, and practice, then really help, really change the life, transform life. Received only one transmission, like, okay, I received this teaching, then satisfied, It will not work. It will not change your mind, In order to change the mind, handle, to practice, connect with the subject in your mind, to make connection, Just one listen is very difficult to change, Then, how much you meet Dharma, you always remain same person. This is the problem comes from listen here, go from here, not connect here. Yeah, this problem. Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah, really, really important. Yeah. Then, okay. I think. Yeah. Well, then, Edwards' man-turning teaching. I introduce you some book. You read if you have time. Read again. Edwards' man-turning of teaching. Read again. Think again. Then 37 practice of Bodhisattva. And the way of Bodhisattva life, Shangdi-Devas, His Holiness always introducing, especially chapter number 6 and chapter number 8. Then, this is very good also in place of dependent origination of by Jetsongaba, Yeah. These things,
Chapter 6 and 8.
Yeah.
What was that?
Way of the Sadhava. We are what we are discussing,
Yes.
Yeah. They mentioned in detail, logically, because our negative emotion is very strong. We have to fight with our own negative emotion with more logical reasoning. Otherwise, they will not listen to us. Yeah. We have to make speech less anger. We can make anger speechless by reading the chapter number 6 of Shangdi-Deva, the way of the Sadhava life. The chapter number 8, how to develop the altruistic intention. It's detailed, very good. How to develop the altruistic intention, mind of enlightenment. This is the main source of the happiness. Yeah, main source of the happiness, yeah. Okay, therefore, Buddhist philosophy is background like that. This is very, very important for the people who practice the profoundly. More, also a high practitioner. Yeah. And now we go to text. Yeah. Today you have to finish this. Yeah. Yeah, from 52, yeah? From 52 today, yeah, from 52. 52, what Chaitanya says here, 52, he says, of all your deeds, your speech is supreme, yeah? Within that too, it is this very speech, yeah? So the wise should remember the Buddha through this teaching of dependent origination, yeah? He said, I read once in Tibetan, okay? Zabagun le sungine, zabachoyi, tiani, dini yinjiri kebayi, dila sanche chitenchus. Zabagun le sungine, zabachoyi, tiani, that really, introducing, the Dharma, Hichitongapa. Actually, Buddha shown that we usually call the 12 deeds, yeah? The 12 deeds, in the Buddha's lifetime, 12 deeds, In this, Buddha defeated Lord Mara, in the Buddhagaya, competition with the Mara, Buddha defeated Lord Maras, Also, the physically Buddha's, something, physically Buddha possess 80 major marks, 32 minor marks, many qualities, also omniscience mind, Buddha possesses, omniscient mind, omniscient mind, means knowing everything, a lot of things, Buddha did lot, contribute, for the world, The Tsongkhapa says, the speech of this of speech is the supreme. Understand? Yeah, this is the, now His Holiness always say, if you pray to the beautiful stage of Buddha, no more blessing. If you start practice his teaching, you will be blessed. No? Therefore here Tsongkhapa says, the deed of speech is the supreme. Especially speech of dependent origination. Here. Therefore, when you remember Buddha, if you are wise, when you remember Buddha with his teaching, or what he taught. What is the most important teaching of him, Yeah. Therefore, if he says, he usually says, many masters say, if really you want to be good, follower of Buddha, first start the Buddha's teaching, well, then really become real Buddhist, Yeah. Otherwise, don't know how to do, many things, problem, Prayer, good, lot benefit. But along prayer, we cannot change our negative emotion, The main purpose of the practicing Buddhism is to control negative emotion, to make more calm person, more peaceful person, finally to achieve to become like Buddha, or remove all negativities, possess all good qualities, finally, this is the main aim, of the practice of Buddhism, This is not come through only the prayer, This comes from starting in the reflecting and the meditating, the practicing, Therefore, the speech of the Buddha, teaching of Buddha is more important, most important, You say, yeah. Okay. Then we go to next year, 53. Following such a teacher and having become a renunciate, having studied the congruous words not too purely, this monk who stuck in the yogic practices, such is the depth of his reverence to the great seer, yeah? Seer, great seer. Then he says, this is talking, how much he has respect to Buddha, Yeah. Then mentioned already, in the stanza, the people stanzas, many stanzas he mentioned, how much he had devotion to Buddha, especially how much he developed inspiration, encouraged to the Dharma by the starting the dependent origination, That then 54. Since it is due to my teacher's kindness, I have met with the teaching of an excelled teacher, I dedicate this virtue towards the cause, for all beings to be sustained by sublime spiritual mentors. Yeah, people. Tambalana me be tambada jewa den lame timbe. Gewadi and Romano, she that he said, emphasizing this is the teacher is very important, and this says he dedicated all virtues he has done, he dedicated for everybody to to meet a good teacher, this dedicated for this, he says Tambalana me tembada Jawad in the lame timbe, Gewadi and Romano, she Tambalana me tembadas, he says he understands the precious teaching of Buddha. This is the gratitude of his master, because of his master, gratitude of his master, he understands that the teaching of the Buddha, also mid of the teaching of Buddha, he mentioned these 54, he says, everyone he dedicated for everyone meet a good teacher, he dedicated for this, Then next, 55, may the teaching of this beneficent one till world's end be unshaken by the winds of the evil thoughts. May it be always be filled with those who find conviction in the teacher by understanding the teachings true nature. Penzati tempa sibe da ngendolong naba mi tempa ngendushin tambala yijini beta the conscious that he in this sense he pray, he prayed he is talking, we usually say blind faith and wise faith. He's emphasizing on the wise faith. Okay, in this stanza. He stanza past studying, properly the Buddha's teaching. Then it brings, wise faith, logical faith, wisdom supported faith, bring, wisdom, he says, if you understand, it means one side also say, if you understand the real, the bonds of the Buddha's teaching, then it brings you strong devotion, it makes you inspiration, it makes you strong devotion towards Buddha. This comes from the we usually says very stable devotion. This the understanding the teaching of Buddha, it brings some devotion to Buddha. Then some people come how much criticize Buddha, you never lose your devotion. This is the important, Otherwise, you don't know, sometimes like the common people, many common people don't study, like that, Then somebody criticizes him, they lose easily devotion. But you don't know, about him, detail, If you know yourself, if you have knowledge about him, what he's teaching, then whatever people talk, about him, you never lose because you get conviction here, You have already conviction here, You already knew, what is the Buddha, what is his teaching, This is talking Chezong over here, Therefore, it's important to develop devotion to Buddha by studying the practicing of his teaching, As as he mentioned, if you start, then if you get some experience here, some experience, then you never lose, faith. This is important, yeah. Okay, then now 55. Then 56, you know. We read 56. My eye never falter even for an instant to uphold the excellent way of the sage, which illuminates the principle of the dependent originations through all my births, even the giving away my body and lives. 56, yeah. Dembacha de Kapa Majin in the Nibuzebe Druban, the Takashi, Pure Junior, and number in the Dawa shows. That's, yeah, this, you know, this is. These teachings usually say you are in your community, Western community, you usually use now randomness, yeah? Randomness, you know. Buddha's teaching is not randomness, he say here. Not because Buddha put a lot of effort, you know, through the many lifetimes, process of many lifetimes, you know. You know, you know, and many lifetimes, you know, Buddha have taken the five-handed pure love. Also, Buddha have taken five-handed unpure love, you know. We say, Tibetan say, this is mentioned in Jakata's history, you know. In read Jakata history, then how much Buddha contributed, you know, to the Dharma, we can understand in Jakata's story, you know. Yeah, sometimes he dedicated his own love, sometimes he dedicated his family, you know, sometimes he dedicated all his property, you know, even sometimes, you know, at the cost of the love, even, you know, he dedicated, you know, his love, you know, he chose the, you know, Dharma, you know, a lot, you know, therefore he says, this, that, you know, outcome, you know, that the result of the Buddha's, you know, Buddha taught, you know, Lord teaching, precious teaching by the Lord efforts, you know. Then Tsongkhapa says, we should try to keep, you know, we should try to keep it, you know, without degenerating, you know. Also, we should try to separate, you know, in the world, you know, for the benefiting all sentient beings, all mother sentient beings, you know. Tsongkhapa say this here. 타관식의 표현, number joining it, 타관식의 표현, you know that? You know, in the flourish the teaching of Dharma, you try to many different ways, you know, to take the different ways, method, you know, to flourish Dharma, you know. Yeah, he's talking here. Therefore, if you are come here, listen to read, you know, this, you know, contribute to the Buddha's teaching, yeah, to live long on this world, you know, to separate Buddha's teaching, you know, yeah. This generation don't keep this teaching, we cannot give next generation, yeah. Then next generation, no chance to practice, yeah. This passed to generation, yeah. Yeah, this is talking, yeah. This is important, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Very difficult Western country, Dharma separate from India to Tibet. Yeah, like that cannot separate from Tibet, India to Western country. Yeah? Quite difficult, yeah. Also today, modern, sometimes according to the centuries, something sophisticated, yeah, very sophisticated, yeah, now. Yeah, there are a lot of distractions, yeah, for the people, yeah, to that practice Dharma. Yeah. This is one problem, yeah. So modern.
Geshe, I think a problem, or maybe it's a challenge that we have in the West, is integrating philosophy and yoga In other words, and you talked about this earlier, it's very important for us to study Buddhist philosophy and science. And as it says here, it's also very important to engage in classic yogic practices. He said it like in stanza 53. I interpret those practices to be things like prayer, breathing, visualization, movement, and so on and so forth. So I wonder if you could talk a little bit about how we integrate them. For instance, with dependent origination, how do we integrate this information into, say, movement or thought, contemplation? What are some ways that we can do that? Because I think in the West, we see the mind and the body as almost two separate things. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah. You know, firstly you should understand what is the main purpose of the practice in Buddhism. Main purpose of practice Buddhism to eliminate negative emotion, suffering. Yeah, this is the main purpose. Therefore, in order to remove negative and emotion and the suffering, we should understand the reality of the things. You know, the suffering and the negative emotion arise from ignorance. You know, ignorance corresponding the things. You know, beyond their what they really are. You know. Therefore, this is one thing. You know, you understand now. Philosophy is important for everything. Yeah. We have to target ignorance. Then, if you can target ignorance, then close all the branch of negative emotions: attachment, anger, jealousy, hatred. Frustration, so on and so forth. All go away. Yeah. In order to target ignorance, we should start the reality. We should know the reality of the things. This is one thing. Also, you are asking yoga. Especially in yoga practice, we visualize self-generating the deity. When self-generated deity is actually with the knowledge of the understanding shunyata, we should generate deity. Without the knowledge of the understanding the shunyata, then no chance to generate the deity. Understand?
Okay, so it's through our knowledge and our wisdom that we can understand and identify our own ignorance. And then when we do that, we in turn are able to invoke the blessings of a particular deity to help us with our practice.
Can you mean?
Does that make sense?
Again.
So through our intellect, we understand ignorance. And when we understand ignorance, we also can identify greed, hatred, other poisons. So that gives us kind of a mental framework for where we are at. And when we know where we are at, we can invoke the blessings of a deity to help us navigate where we're at.
We could, you could
Does that make sense?
invoke blessing, yeah.
Yeah. And so, in our practice could be anything. It could be prayer, contemplation, thought, movement, breathing, working, playing. But it's by having the deity's blessings that we can, I think, gosh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But having the deity, I guess, enhances that practice experience.
Yeah, said the many techniques, the breathing, for example, the breathing, breathing initiative, we started from breathing. If we go, there are a lot secret in the breathing to explore secret things,
And it's through the practice that we include our intellect. And it's through our intellect we improve the practice.
Sure.
Symbiotic.
Yeah, intellect is important, Firstly, we should intellectually understanding, intellectual understanding, Firstly, we can very difficult to get experience, yeah. Firstly, we should try to get the intellectual level, yeah, understanding of intellectual level. Then get experience, yeah, second, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the intellect and the experience, I guess, comes the wisdom.
Yeah. Intellectual, by intellectual, level, we could develop the wisdom, Yeah, like wisdom, We can get the information,
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is I sort of feel like, at least with me, sometimes when I do, let's say, classic yoga practices, there's no anchor. Just doing them.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of, in a way, it's good, but it's maybe a little uninformed.
Yeah, that today, in the Western country, many people, the part of the Tibetan yoga used for the body exercise,
And it's
physical exercise, Yeah, not get the whole
It's not whole
experience, whole things, cannot get whole things or cannot get whole purpose,
Yeah. So this is advocating, obviously, a holistic approach. Mind, body, emotion.
There's a connect, connect. Yeah, but if you really accomplish, really purpose that accomplish the Vajrayana teaching, then understanding, without understanding Shunyata, then no opportunity, no chance.
It only goes
Yeah. Just very shallow, cannot go deeper. Yeah, cannot go deeper. Then sometimes, this is, all Tibetan master or Indian master, if we go, reading, through the more deeper, the authentic many texts, you can get information. Also, you listen His Holiness Dalai Lama's teaching, he repeatedly, many times, Yeah. Okay. Huh?
I have a question.
No, finish it or not finish, yeah? Students are finished?
Oh,
Left?
Are we done?
No, because it's a 58.
Oh,
Okay, now first your question, then we finish, no problem.
When we do this practice, you take initiation, and part of the practice is to arise as the deity. And what is the thinking behind that particular practice of arising as the deity?
Yeah. You mean the purpose of the arising deity, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. According to the Vajrayana teaching, we should remove the ordinary appearance. Understand?
Of ourselves.
Yeah, ourselves. Now we have ordinary appearance. We see, when daily practice, you see around your house, you transform into the mandala. Around you, the people, everyone deity, including you.
So get rid of the ordinary appearance
Yeah. Remove the ordinary perception.
and take on the divine.
Yeah, divine perception. Yeah, this is the purpose. Yeah. Okay. Then now, last 58. No? 50.
57.
Not finish? 57 finish. I finish here, 57. Now I read 58 here. Yeah. Then we finish. That now, 57, 56, this prayer, no? That 50. Yeah, I don't have here.
58.
Yeah, 58, no problem. I read from here. As I strive in this with pure intention, may Brahma, Indra, and the world's guardians and protectors such as Mahakala, unwavering, always assist me. Yeah? This year. Hasan Tabu, Chun Zama, Sanda Wangu Jigdin Jumada, Lendena will you that church shows. Yes, he seeks some support here from the dead for Florish Dharma. Therefore, we always sing to the Bandilama. This is the why we, to offering to the Bandilama. Yeah, Makala here, Makala. Yeah, Makala is Radful Avalokiteshvara. Compassion. Yeah, this different form, but the identity is that Avalokiteshvara. Compassion. Yeah, Magala. Compassion Buddha.
What is the Lord of death?
Magala is Gombo. We Tibetans say Gombo. This is actually this deity is the manifestation of compassion. Yeah, compassion, manifestation of compassion. Manifestation of compassion. Yeah. Gombo. Guru, sometimes we say Guru Avalokiteshvara, Buddha Avalokiteshvara, protector Avalokiteshvara. This is the protector, protector Avalokiteshvara, Magala. Sometimes Guru Manjushiri, deity Manjushiri, protector Manjushiri. Yeah? Deity Manjushiri Yametaga, protector Manjushiri is Tamjichuge, protector, Then Guru means Manjushiri, Guru is Jetsongapa, Manjushiri, like that, many. Okay, thank you. Then now finish. We dedicate.
Page 38 in the book. Dedication of merits. 38.
Okay.
Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious body-mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. Page 55. Om Swasti. Like the countless light rays that radiate from the ruby mountain, exquisite Amitayu's Lord of everlasting life, who captivates and one does not tire of seeing, whose essence is of infinite life, the nectar of immortality. Please instantly grant our Guru the city of stable and everlasting life. You are intelligent and skillful in upholding the traditions of Buddha, spreading the holy Dharma through explanations and practices, in order to lead disciples onto the path to liberation. For the one who is an unequal guide, please live a long and stable life. I request respectfully my precious and holy Guru to enjoy excellent health. I request respectfully my precious and holy Guru to live a long life. I request respectfully my precious and holy Guru that your Dharma activities spread and flourish far and wide. I request respectfully my precious and holy Guru to bless me to be never separated from you. In all my future rebirths, may I never be separated from my perfect Guru. May I enjoy the magnificent Dharma, and by completing the qualities of the stages and path, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara. Om Guru Vajramuni Sasana Vimukti Soha. 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 Page 40. Meg Meza
jen reze drime gembe wangbo jambe ya ganje gebe zuge zongaba lo zan dragbe shala so wade me zo we de je je dream gembe wangbo jambe ya ganje gebe zu ge gaba lo zan dragbe jala so wande me zo we de je reze dream gembe wangbo jambe ya ganje gebe zu ge zongaba lo zan dragbe jala so wande Om Benza Sato Samaya Manabalaya Benza Sato Denoba Dido Dido Membawa Suto Kayo Membawa Subo Kayo Membawa Anurato Membawa Sawa Siddhi Membayata Sawa Kama Susame Sita Jayam Guru Ahaho Bhagawa Sawa Tathagata Benza Mame Maza Benza Bhava Maha Samaya Sato Ahumpe.
Okay, thank you, Geshe-la.